So we are back. If you are playing normally, leveling up and all that, it's most possibly worth finding every possible Pokemons here, encountering them at least, just to know what move is effective. I know, old schools don't like that feature, but I do. I like simple, convenient things. That effectiveness chart is just so complex at this point. I can't really care about it. When you are coming from the grand trial, the game checks your real life clock. Another mandatory feature presentation comes here. So if you are playing during nighttime, it will be nighttime, no matter how you started the game. By the way, until you do the first... Oh, for fuck's sake, they made this the most inconvenient piece of shit. Finally free. I hate being taken hostage, and you can only get through this pushing the A button and the B. Most of the times B works just as fine. I just hate this place. By the way, if you just stop and read these flash conversation questions, interactions with characters, they are most of the time fake and very obviously intended to pick one, but some actually they actually give you all the information what you need to get the story, so you won't get lost. And you get actually character progression, like the albino girl is this, oh, I can't do anything, and I'm inferior, and you do that, and just leave me alone. But we will do that in a second. Still... Oh, this is why I don't do this. So the albino girl is... But... so she's this weakling and not confident, and just ran from home, and she was rich like hell, so she doesn't even know what to do, and because she was rich, she never actually interacted with the Pokemon side of the world, so she has to accumulate to that, and you can act like, yeah, you suck. You can always tell her that she sucks, and for the first half, 2/3 of the game, she will agree, yeah, I suck, I know, I'm sorry. But if you do that, at the end of the game, she will tell you, you are a jerk. Why are you doing this? I know I'm not the best in the world, but I'm trying. So there is a character development here, and you actually feel, if you are not a total psychopath, you will feel ashamed that you just keep bashing her to the ground. And okay, we are done here. Okay, no, I always miss this. Okay, not always, but Like a third of the time I miss this corridor. So now we are doing mountain surfing because using a ship is so for the poor or whatever. I'm not really sure. I will have to pay attention for this. This is annoying. Someone coded it badly. Here you just have to get speed and then you have to get into the air. This will do, because you are not fucking ripped from the possibility. And this is where you should do a flip and then land safely, but you just have to land safely because some Nintendo got lazy. And now you are doing it for the real. There are some obstacles. By the way, I am playing at 2.5 speed. For this part, if I want beach points, it's a big thing in the Ultra games that you can get beach points during the game. They are a cool thing. Your move pool gets expanded a lot by these beach shops. I don't know if I need here any of it. I didn't did very good. I sometimes can do 6 beach points up to. If I pump up the speed more, I really can't do much with the mountain surfing. I could pump up the speed for the walking around to 4 times. I did train for that actually, but if I do even just 3.25 or something like that, my hardware don't like it, and sooner or later the game will crash because of it. So I stick with 2.5 times and use the code to Taurus ride to get around sometimes. Here you could get a rare candy on one of the sidewalk NPCs. From here you take a few steps further and on the right. But we don't need that, obviously, with this one. Not that one. And this moves to 3. And we get rid of tail whip. As said, we don't necessarily need this. I hate these. These are a bit of a wall, so to say. They have better Pokemon. I mean, the first island was the tutorial island explicitly, so it's okay that these have some better stuff. But they can, especially Espion, can get really problematic. unless you have the right moves. Or they can be problematic if you have the weakness, or and so on and so on. So in a normal playthrough they are so the hotel on the left you seen, this is something I didn't need it. Those are two trainers I just avoid because why bother? Yeah, you can just catch EVs. By the way, the fruits, berry pies are good things. Not very necessary. It's mostly for the early game, you know. Orange berry, a citrus berry can be advantageous. Oh, this now become the anyád. They can paralyze by touch, so we will have to visit some medical center to buy some stuff. It's not a lot of things, but you know, and you get plenty of money to buy things. No, this is not that one. By the way, if you are thinking about the Professor Oak challenge, you should listen to these and segment your games by these vendors. There are, in a Pokemon Professor Oak challenge, there should be 8 segment because of the 8 gym badges. Here they don't have gym badges, but you have trials and all the master trainers, and when you are actually the game is by Nintendo segmented to 8, like in the gym segments, but because the different structure of the game, they pushed the 8 segments to these vendors telling you here you could get some stuff that they are worth actually looking around, but not with a level 100 Pokemon. You can get Miltank and Tauros, some interesting Pokemon, and here you can get a free Eevee. This guy is annoying. If you only have one Pokemon, these double battles won't happen. You just pass through those people, so you don't have to worry about them. Of course, this is not a Zubat. I told you. By the way, that illusion Pokemon is interestingly coded, because if you will be shown the type effectiveness depending on whether you encountered it on the fields or, you know, yeah, on the fields. The most weird coding thing is that sometimes you have the Pokemon, battle the Pokemon through a trainer, and you've seen the Pokemon because someone had it with him or her or whatever. But when you find it on the field or something, you still don't have the type effectiveness. It's hilarious at some level. And just here comes the second trial. By the way, if you need sometimes, if you are playing normally, you just want to immediately leave and go back to the first island, not just to gather beach points, but because you can ride this thing and you have access to certain areas. Here I'm again not all sure about the coding. These in the first pond can summon infinite backup. So yeah, when you are doing minimum battle, just keep that in mind, that try to get to the spirit of the challenge, not abuse the system. And from the two spots, sometimes you are only required to fight one. By the way, in the normal games, you know, Sun and Moon, at the center, Pokemon Center, you get the advice to bring in grass and electric types, which you do have access, sure, but that's a trolling in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the Ultra games. Nope. Because they changed the totem, so that advice no longer applies. It actually hinders you, because this is some bug voter thing, and the type combination makes the type effectiveness on its head. And you know, again, will you be able to take advantage of the Normalium Z or the Fighting Z? No, they are not effective here. Sure, they can boost your move for one time, you probably can do better than that, or just use Thief, because this thing has a berry that makes it resistant to electric attacks, so it's a big troll. There is the charge beam though in there, in the trial area, so if you have access to, can get used to it, then you should pick it up, because that's a wonderful move for this trial and for some of the upcoming stuff. This is a ghost type again, but at this point you should have something else, even if nothing else but from the beach shops. This you can't pass until you do the trial, of course. If you play the Pokemon game ever, you know that. This is, by the way, has pretty good stats, and to not get boring, because you will fight this thing like 2 more times, they get other booster items every time, so it's a different type of challenge. That's a good design, if you ask me. Here, save before this, because there is a trainer that walks into this hotspot. So when you are done with this fight, you can be with a percentage annihilated by that trainer. So that would be Not good. Annoying thing. The next trial is another a ghost type, mostly. So be prepared to that. It's technically the fire trial, but it's not that really. But it's also a fire trial. It's actually the first very hard pump. This water trial is actually manageable, at least if you have a flying type move. So with Inkay Malamar, keep to your weak ass flying type move, or you will have to level up to like the 30s, and that's time consuming. I did that mistake. That was my very first playthrough of Ultrasun. Here the masked one, who is obviously just the organizer of the World Alola League, but they pretend they don't. He's okay, you know what? Does this protect thing? So the goal here is to off any Pokemon. And by the way, even if you lose, that doesn't matter. You don't gain any XP from this. You don't lose XP or money from this. It's just another useless mechanic. One time, so very rarely, I can do 2 Pokemon going down back in there. And one time, I remember I managed to shoot down all of them. Somehow. That was very lucky because I was slow and the tiny dog didn't do the protect thing, or I just bypassed it. I'm not sure. But the other one just knocked down the other opponent, and then I did a double move. Do I want to go there? No, just go here. By the way, you can heal by this chick. There is a move on the left if you need it, and a couple of trainers. It's not bad. Here, don't push the button just mindlessly. You need the middle one. Here is 33% chance you get the right if you are just guessing. But you can make them do the dance again, so you shouldn't just guess. Unless, like here, where I did guess, but here you have 50% chance on guessing. But all the 50% is on the bottom, so you are not really helped out. Great. I just can't go out and use an item. I avoid this because you do get some friendship points and some affection points, but you never go above 1. And 2 is where you get the advantages. I think 2 only gives you some extra XP, but yeah, anyway. Here, whatever you pick, everything works, so you can just button mash. This hit very hard, and it has this move. It's trolling, it's absolutely randomized. So normally you have to just, oh, and this too. Now I can't use that move anymore. Great. I mean, normally it would be very, 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 very annoying. So this is a very big trolling battle. And a huge level check. This is the first real level check. These quick balls are like crazy strong. You want that. In the other games they can be kinda meh, but here they are godsend. Sent, whatever. This is a very good feature normally, for which you want to catch Pokemons. I would switch to bull riding, but they would take away the cutscenes, always take away because the Nintendo programming is lazy. So in that you can... The main thing I use is for berry growing. Sometimes some Pokemon can get advantage from certain berries during the end game. Those berries are very rare, so if you get one, you won't just breed one. So you don't have to wait again for the random. I figured this is faster than fighting them, and we don't come back to this route. I don't like this route. You always have better things to do, and you already have the Pokemons here from here or whatever, but here is where you can get fossil Pokemons, and you better come in here because this is no longer activated just because you passed it. Because you got the Charizard ride, this you can fly around now. This second island, by the way, if you are level 100, still a guaranteed thing. Although I can't wait to try to win with Pyukumuku. But all the current save slots has is where you pick the fire starter, so to say, so the opponent gets the grass starter, the rival, so to say, although he's not a rival. That's explicitly told. He's on a whole different quest, because he's the Grand Kahuna's, you know, the leader of the Four Island, grandson, and he's to take over the family business. And he's not fine with that, because that means he is set up to lose, so to say, because, you know, he will be practically the champion. By the way, I'm taking these from the specific things. The description gives you clues which are safe to take. Otherwise, you will have to fight during this trial before the totem Pokemon, 3 other Pokemon. Those which you've seen during the cutscenes. So the Hawaiian dude has to understand what's the role of a champion, because here you don't become a champion and take over the championship. Well, you do, but you know what I'm talking about. You will eventually retire because that's not your job. So you just go home and do whatever. And then he gets back the champion title. So that he's not set up to be a contender on these trials. That annoys the guy, and he has to deal with that. So, and that will be especially prevalent during a certain event. I will tell you more at that. If you go on foot, you will meet the guy, your so to say rival, during this route, but I will just fly here to shorten the run time.